Listen, if you are frustrated and overwhelmed when it comes to creating content or promoting your business, it is probably because you are using the wrong digital marketing strategy. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can tap into your own personalized marketing archetype so that you can market your business in a more meaningful and effective way. So let's get into it.
There's no stopping me now. I know my 𝗙𝗲𝗃 𝗃𝗂𝗃. Money's all over me. I'm called to be rich and be free.
Welcome back to my channel. I am Ebony Evaughn, your go-to business operations strategist, here to help you grow your business with people and processes. In today's video, we are talking all about digital marketing. We are going to get into how you can create a custom digital marketing strategy and implement marketing systems and a structure in your business that is going to be unique to you so that you can be more efficient and effective when it comes to the systems and structure that you have in your business regarding your marketing strategies that you implement. So the reason why I wanted to do this video is I noticed that whenever I'm having conversations with my clients, a lot of times they struggle when it comes to just putting themselves out there and promoting their business. And it's most likely because most people tell you that, if you listen to the gurus, they'll tell you get on Instagram, you need a TikTok, like Clubhouse is the next new thing, it's the new black. So you feel like you have to be omnipresent, be visible on all these platforms and do all the things. And so everyone is pretty much being told to do the same things. And that was essentially me when I first started my business, right? I've been in this online space for over a decade at this point. I started my very first business in 2013. My cousin Tara and I, we had a hair company called 𝗪𝗻𝗄. And the e-commerce thing was really not for me. Dealing with shipping, dealing with overseas vendors, it was a lot, right? So I decided to tap into my background, my work experience, my HR background, my degrees in HR, my MBA, and my background in IT. And so I went into career coaching, and then that led me into business coaching and then becoming a business operations strategist. And through that time, I had learned to market using so many different strategies and tactics. But when I look back at when it comes to marketing, all of the gurus have always kind of told you that you need to market your business a specific way, right? You'll always come across marketing messages and gurus who say you need to be on Instagram. And it's crazy because when I first started my business, and not necessarily in 2013 with the hair company, we did have Instagram, but we didn't rely on it because we were pretty much kind of like serving a specific audience of like military spouses or people who were overseas. So we kind of had our own little market. And it's funny because it's 10 years later and you still have a lot of marketing gurus and coaches who are teaching the same tactics and strategy of like get on Instagram, and you'll always hear messaging of like, oh, if you're not using email marketing, then you're leaving money on the table. Every time there's a new social media platform that comes out, you'll hear people say, this is the next new thing. This is a new black. You need to be on TikTok. You need to be on Clubhouse. You need to be using Instagram, guys, right? And so it may or may not be an effective strategy for your business. And so one thing that I had to realize for myself was, instead of listening to everyone else and paying attention to all the noises out there, is really just getting quiet and focusing on like, how do I want to show up? What is the message that I want to share with people? And what's the best way for me to do that? But at the very start of my business, when I hired business coaches, I knew early on that I did not like the way of marketing that I was being told to do. So much of marketing, especially in 2014, 2015, was really like the guerrilla marketing, aggressive, like flex on the gram, post your receipts, talk about how much money you made with income reporting. And it really was like cringy and sleazy to me, and I did not like it. It felt like almost you're trying to put other people down so that they feel bad about themselves and want to be you almost, right? And I literally had a coach tell me that. I ain't gonna blast her. But I literally had a coach say, like, you want to flex your lifestyle so people want to be you or like want what you have. And so they reach out to you like, girl, like, how you making this type of money online type of thing, right? But for me, that was always so cringy and I hated it. So when I would create content for my business, it was like a chore and I would get like these knots in my stomach and be like, oh my God, like I do not want to have to post this receipt of like I made this much money in 7 days or whatever. And so I really had to just sit with myself and like come up with a way that I could market my business so that it was in alignment with my core values and who I am at my core, but then also what I wanted my business to represent and how I wanted to show up and share my message with the world. And so how I did that was by basically creating like a marketing archetype, right? And that's basically me leveraging personality assessments, my natural strengths and abilities, and then allowing that to dictate the marketing strategies, the marketing channels, and the content styles that I use when it comes to showing up, marketing, and promoting my business. So the very first thing that I did was I looked at, I am an assessments girl. I love a good assessment. I don't care if it's Myers-Briggs. I don't care if it's Clifton Strengths. I don't care if it's human design. I don't care if it's zodiac, astrology, life path, numbers, whatever. Your girl loves an assessment, right? And so for me, I use these assessments for things that I knew about myself in order to help me decide on how I wanted to show up and market my business. So for example, some of the core assessments that I use is human design, right? Human design, I am a 4/6 generator. I am someone who is a builder, a creator. I go off the beaten path. I don't necessarily follow what other people do. I create my own rhythm and structure. When it comes to Clifton Strengths, my top 5 strengths are futuristic, relator, command, significance, and maximizer. So 3 of 5 of those are all about influencing and then basically leading by example. When it comes to 𝗪𝗏, I am at 8715, which means I am a fact finder. I am someone who follows through. Translation, your girl loves a good system. I love structure and stability. And so when it comes to zodiac, astrology, I am an Aries. I am a life path 1, which is all about trailblazing. Leading by example instead of just following the path that someone else has created, getting out there and blazing new trails, going against the grain and doing things a different way, right? So because I knew these things about myself, it allowed me to really tap into, okay, if this is who I am, this is what I value. I like meaningful connections. I don't like wasting time. I don't like being fake. I want to come from a place that's very authentic. How can I leverage that in how I show up and how I market myself? And not only that, in addition to looking at my personality assessments and who I was at my core, what I valued, how I wanted to show up, I also looked at just like my natural strengths and abilities and what I naturally gravitated towards when it came to using different marketing mediums, right? So, for example, I am someone who, like, I'm an introvert and I call myself a socializing introvert because when I do socialize with people, like people will tell me, oh, I love your smile. I love your energy. You're so bubbly. But I have to know that I have to engage with other people in order for me to like show up as my best self. If you invite me to something that's unplanned and I haven't prepared myself to have to engage and be around people, it's going to be very frustrating and overwhelming for me. Like I tell my friends, don't even show up to my house unannounced, right? You show up, you just gonna be out there knocking, ringing that doorbell, baby. Like I'm not getting up to let you in. I'll be looking at you on the camera. What you want? But you are not getting in if I have not planned to engage and interact with people. And it's not because I'm anti-social or anything. Like, that's just my design, right? That's just how I am. I am someone who would prefer to text someone than to sit on the phone talking, especially if it's like gossip or it's not meaningful conversation. Like, if you want to call me and talk about something deep, you're going through something, yeah, that's cool. I get it. But to sit on the phone and gossip or something like that, listen, I'm going to hang up on you real quick because I don't feel like it's meaningful conversation, right? And so I'm the same way when it comes to marketing my business. I am not someone who loves to just talk and engage with people like this all the time. So what I do like to do is I love to write. I've always been someone who is a writer. I love writing poetry. I love writing songs. Side note, one day, one of the things on my bucket list, I want to write a hit song with Seven Streeter or with Candy Burris. One day I hope that I'm able to achieve that dream. I just love writing, right? I don't have no musical talent, honey, but your girl can write some bars. But because I know that I am someone who prefers to write, a lot of my marketing strategy is based around writing. Email marketing is the nucleus of my marketing system and my business because I love to write. It's effortless for me. I could pump out 20 emails a week just like that, right? Because writing comes so natural for me. I also have a blog on my website because it's easy for me to just write blogs or whatever. But when it comes to creating like videos or getting on audio or like a podcast, like it's a struggle for me to have to talk to the camera and formulate my thoughts like as I'm going. And so even now, people see me and they're like, oh, like you're so good, but this takes a lot of energy for me to show up and formulate my thoughts and not go on rants and all this other stuff, right? So I try to avoid doing too much video or audio content because I know that's not my natural strength. And so that's what you have to think about in your business when it comes to you choosing the right marketing platform, the right medium to market your business. What do you naturally gravitate towards? Are you someone who likes to write? Are you someone who loves speaking? If you love speaking, do you like speaking on camera? Would you rather be speaking off camera, right? So if you love speaking but you hate the camera, it would probably make sense for you to have a podcast or maybe even like be a guest on other people's podcasts. If you are someone who loves the camera, you love talking, you should probably be doing videos and live streaming and make that kind of the focal point or nucleus of your content strategy. But if you're like me and you hate it, then you may want to do writing or something else, right? So, in order to choose your platform, just think about what you naturally gravitate towards as far as like what comes easiest to you and focus on that. So once you actually select your platform that you want to market on, you still need to come up with your content creation style and how you can create content in a way where you can share your message in the most efficient way. So for me, it is easy for me to sit down and do these talking head videos. I could probably pump out 10 of these in one setting and it's not that big of a deal. Like getting me to show, and this is why I batch create content, right? Because getting me to sit down and get in front of the camera is going to take forever. But once I do sit down and I'm kind of in that mode where it's like, okay, I'm creating videos, I can sit there all day and create videos back to back to back. But if I just woke up and was like, oh, I'm going to record this video today, it will never get done. Okay. But for me, I know that, okay, I love systems. I love strategy. So as long as I have a process for how I do things, it's easier for me to stay consistent and then show up in a way that's going to be effective. So you have to do the same thing. In addition to coming up with your content style of like, how do you want to actually share your message? You want to make sure that you come up with a rhythm of how you do that. So for me, knowing how my energy works, I know that I am most creative either like Thursdays or Fridays, or like my creativity days where I tend to just like naturally create more or generate ideas. And then in addition to that, I am more effective when it comes to being productive in the morning. So typically if I am going to like record content and work on marketing, I like to schedule a block of time that's going to be from like 8 to 10 or 9 to 11, where all I'm doing is just focusing on my content, because that is a rhythm that works for me. But you have to come up with your own cadence and your own rhythm for not only creating content, whether you're creating content every day, on a weekly basis, if it's in bite-sized chunks, or maybe you just block off time and you do all your content in one setting. You also want to have kind of like a rhythm and structure about like the systems that you have around your content and marketing. So for me, I batch create everything, right? I will sit there and I have days where all I do is come up with content ideas. I'll have some days where all I do is just focus on like writing out like scripts and outlines for content. And then I'll have days where we're like flush it out and then we like finalize an email, record videos, things like that. So in a nutshell, when it comes to rhythms and when it comes to like a cadence for marketing or content creation in general, I try to make sure that I have a cadence that supports my natural energy and ebbs and flow for how I like to do things. So that's something for you to consider as well. And there's also why I created, you may be familiar with this if you've been on the channel for a while, but I created what I call like my serve, suggest, sell method for how I actually create a cadence around how I introduce like sales and marketing and serving to our audience. So essentially with serve, suggest, sell, I have a video on it. I'll put it in a card somewhere. But basically, again, I didn't like the guerrilla style marketing that everyone typically teaches. And I wanted to come from a place that was more like you serve up front, right? You leave with servitude. And so with that, I created the serve, suggest, sell method, where we pretty much create content in a rhythm of threes. So the first introduction that someone has to us is always going to be just serving. Like, we're going to add value, we're going to educate them. We lead with servitude. And then after that, we go to like the suggest mode, where we're still serving, we're still leading with value, but then we indirectly lead people to a sell. And then after that suggest, we go to like a direct sales pitch, where now that we've kind of cultivated that relationship, now we're asking for the sale. And so this is a marketing structure that allows me to market in a way that is more in alignment with my personal values, but also like my brand personality and my brand values and how I want the brand social to show up in the world as well. So that's just another example of how I've created a marketing archetype. But that is how I have been able to create a marketing archetype that's unique to me and my business. I leverage my personality. I look at all the assessments that I have taken over the years and how they impact how I can market efficiently. I definitely leverage platforms that I feel like it's low effort for me. It allows me to cater to my strengths and natural skills and abilities. And then I also create a rhythm that makes sense for me. And so you can do the same thing to create your own marketing archetype. A couple of videos that I will recommend for you if you are into human design, or maybe you're curious about how you can leverage human design in your business. There is a video by Crystal. Crystal is someone who has helped me when it comes to creating systems and structure in my business around my human design. I've looked at a lot of the content over on human design transformation on her channel. I'll link a video where it talks about, based on your profile, like what content strategy to use when it comes to marketing, because that has really helped me to create content in a way where I feel like I could pump out content. Not that I will pump out content 24/7, but definitely it's a lot easier and more efficient for me to do so without feeling frustration or getting burnt out. But Crystal has a video over on her channel, Human Design Transformation, where she talks about how to choose a marketing or content strategy based on your human design. So I will link to that down below in the comments and description of this video so that you can check it out. But other than that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for stopping by my internet home. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those notifications so anytime I post another video like this, you will be the first one to be notified. All right, bye y'all.